Hi everybody, welcome to the Pregnancy Show. I'm Melanie Raposo. On today's panel discussion, the moms give you the truth about what to really expect during your pregnancy. There's no holding back as they talk about the good, the bad, and the sometimes not so pretty things that you should expect when you're pregnant.
A lot of women, again, on the site are always talking about, what am I going to expect when I'm pregnant? And everybody's experience is different, right? Yeah. And you can't really say this and this is going to happen to you, but it's nice to hear from different moms kind of what you went through. So I'm just curious, what was your experience like when you were pregnant? Was there any misconceptions, like people told you things would happen and they didn't? Or what can you offer to women and say, you know, expect this to happen or something like that? Have any experiences that you guys want to share?
I never had morning sickness. I never threw up. But everything else that could go wrong went wrong. I developed gestational diabetes and thyroid problems.
Really?
And I had, I was in bed rest in the first trimester and as much of the third trimester that I went through. Then I went through premature labor. My daughter was born prematurely and didn't expect any of that to happen. Right. I didn't even finish the baby book that I was reading. We dropped out of our prenatal and Lamaze classes because we were in labor.
Oh, geez.
And just nothing prepared me for what I went through. And what's interesting to me is when I found out that I wasn't a rare, I guess, statistic in terms of premature labor. Nowadays, like that hospital, the high-risk floor was full of women who were going through premature labor and other like problems. And you don't expect to have problems when you're pregnant, I guess. Like, it just was a big shock. And I guess in terms of advice, I don't know, like, I guess the more moms you get to talk to, read, and you don't want to get, you don't want to be scaring moms who are pregnant,
right.
But for me, I had no idea that this could even happen because I was just reading like books that said, oh, your feet will get this way and what to expect, and there were more, I guess, positive references to pregnancy, and I didn't get to read as much about what could go wrong.
Right.
And I couldn't read that bit of the book. I got what to expect when you were pregnant, when you're expecting from a friend, read all the first part, got to the last bit that said in special circumstances, I think.
I didn't get to that
I read, and I had the most normal boring pregnancies both times.
Really?
Got to that bit, read the first page, passed out, thud on the floor, and just had to put the book away. Because I thought, if that happens to me, there are trained medical professionals who will deal with it, and they will just do what they need to do, and I will just lie there because I couldn't read it. It just totally. But I mean, I was very lucky in that I had two normal, boring, fabulous births, but very boring pregnancies. Didn't, nothing exciting happened really, except there was a baby at the end of it.
Anyone else have experience?
I read, and I was premature, so I had my mom's stories about that. I had friends that had babies, and I heard all these different horror stories because my sister-in-law just had a premature baby at 33 weeks. So I was really, really lucky because I planned on this home birth, water birth, and I was lucky enough to get it. I had lovely midwives, and I had her at home underwater, and it was a lot longer than I expected because my mom had this really short labor with me. 30 minutes, I believe. Wow. Yeah, and whenever she saw on TV that, oh, those women screaming, it's not like that. Well, I was in labor for 50 hours, 50.
Oh my goodness.
And
wow,
I
really?
was screaming at the end of it. I was in so much pain, never even took an aspirin. No, I know. But I was at home and I didn't have the choice. Like, I was at the point I would have taken the epidural, but I was at home. It's not like they can do it there. And I'm glad I didn't. It was perfect. It was lovely. Everybody was healthy. But I wasn't prepared for that length of time. And it was a long labor. And it was hard. But also, I had morning sickness. I had wicked morning sickness. But week 14 was like a light switch went off. And from then on in... Yeah, and then from then on in, I didn't even really feel pregnant until I could feel her moving.
Really?
Yeah, and then once I felt her moving, it was like I didn't even believe it. Not until there was actually a baby coming out did I actually believe it. I know women that say, "Oh, I knew from the minute I conceived."
That was me.
And
that was me with my first.
People say they can feel it in their bodies.
20 minutes later. Yeah.
How do you know, Christine?
I mean, not 20 minutes later, but I certainly could feel things. Yeah, I even had this feeling that it was a boy the whole time.
Really?
No.
I
Me
knew.
too.
Came out from the ultrasound, and they said, "Oh, it's a boy," and I think the technician expected my husband and I to cheer, and we just said, "Yeah."
We knew.
We were buying blue clothes, when I was
Wow.
pregnant.